have no idea that the ISS is located in an underwater neutral buoyancy lab in Houston, Texas. The space station footage that they trick us with is not traveling at 17,500 miles per hour above your head. It's all being filmed here on Earth. It's a pretty simple process. Film your footage underwater, remove the water layer, add in your CGI Earth layer, and cast your spell.
Bro, what is that? Tonight, I went back into the dark side of TikTok, and you guys still won't believe what I found. Welcome back, family. Well, as y'all know, I always bring the scariest, creepiest, darkest, freaking the most everything-ist video to you guys. So today, we're going to be exploring the dark side once again. As I told y'all in my last video, YouTube has actually been limiting a lot of these videos just because of the things that they expose. You know what I'm saying? They don't want it to go to the public. They don't want people to see it. So if you guys could hype the video up, like it, subscribe, and just interact with it so the algorithm's actually forced to push the video so more people could see it. Before the video starts though, I just want to thank my channel members. I have something big coming for all my channel members in the upcoming months. And if you haven't subscribed yet, remember to smash that subscribe button, join the family. Let's go.
When this guy was feeding the octopus at the aquarium, it suddenly jumped out and started crawling across the floor, trying to escape for good. Immediately, the trainer let it move around to see how far it could go, and it got close to a pipe that would have led straight to the ocean, but the trainer stopped it just in time and threw it back into the tank. Knowing the octopus wanted to escape, the trainer decided to put a lid on the tank, and he kept it tightly closed for 2 years. But one night, a cleaning staff member came by in a hurry and accidentally left the lid slightly open. As soon as the employee left, the octopus started fiddling with it using its tentacles until it managed to lift it completely, and with no trainer around to stop it, it began to crawl across the floor once again. After reaching the pipe, it dove straight in, being carried by the current all the way to the ocean. When the trainer arrived the next morning, he accepted the octopus's freedom and did nothing to bring it back.
For those who don't actually know, octopi, I think they're called, are actually some of the smartest animals on this planet. They're so smart that they actually ended up building cities underwater. And my other question is, why does a zoo have a pipe that leads to the ocean? I'm dead. When I was watching this video, someone in the comment literally said, so they could dump waste in the ocean. That's actually kind of funny.
Want to get creeped out? Let's talk about the Answer Man ritual. This is a ritual where you ask the Answer Man for any knowledge that you basically desire to have, but beware the questions that you will have to answer in return and the risk of what you might lose if you answer one of his questions incorrectly. So for this game or ritual, which I do not suggest you do, I have to say that every time, okay? I'm sorry that I'm fun and I like to share creepy rituals and games and stories, but don't do it. But I will tell you how, but don't do it. Anyway, so you need 10 people and you need 10 burner phones. 10 people sit in a circle and each person gives their phone number to the person on their right, or get the phone number from the person on your left, because that's who you'll be calling. And make sure you put them in the phone as a contact so that it's quick when you need to call them. There will be one person who is in charge of counting to 3, and make sure they specify whether it's on 3 or immediately after 3 when each person will call the person to their left. So everyone is calling each other at the same time. If all calls go to voicemail or a busy signal, the ritual did not work and you have to try again later, not in like 10 minutes, but like a couple hours at least. If 9 people experience their call going to voicemail or to a busy signal, then that means this worked. The one other person will get through to the Answer Man. This person can ask the Answer Man any question that they want an answer to. Once he has answered their question, he will ask them a question in return. It is imperative that they answer honestly and correctly to his question, and no lying directly or by omission. The person who got through to the Answer Man can repeat this process as many times as they want. But if you do answer one of the Answer Man's questions incorrectly when he asks you a question, you'll start to feel a certain part of your body tingling. It could be a finger, it could be a toe, it could be your head. One day, he will take this body part from you as payment. It could be by some physical accident or illness, and it could be soon, and it could be years from now, but he will take it. Here's some more information about the ritual. The person who gets through to the Answer Man is not to pass that phone around for everybody to ask questions. The Answer Man answers to one person only, and that's the person who got through to him in the first place. When they're ready to end the call, they have to tell the Answer Man that they must go. There's a good chance that the Answer Man will try to stop you from hanging up. And he'll do this by offering up knowledge for free, potentially very enticing knowledge. Do not stay on the line. Repeatedly tell the Answer Man that you must go. If you're persistent enough, the Answer Man will hang up. Destroy all burner phones used during the ritual once the ritual is done. Destroy them no matter what. Otherwise, you might find something trying to call you back. Now, if you have not been persistent enough in telling the Answer Man that you must go, if he has kept you on the line so that you can hear this enticing free knowledge. Prepare yourself for the question he will ask you next. It will not be like his questions before, and it might be impossible to answer. Lastly, do not hang up on the answer man. It will not end well for you. Let me know if you want to know about people who have tried this ritual, and I'll see you next time.
The FBI is now investigating UFC because they say over 100 fights were potentially rigged. Put on your tinfoil hats, this one gets crazy. It began with this fight last weekend, Isaac Dulgarian. Fans watching this immediately knew when he got tapped in the first round, something was up, and they were right. First of all, the odds dropped significantly right before the fight because a handful of huge bets came in on him to lose in the first round. An MMA journalist now claims the FBI would have told the UFC about this change and asked them to pull the fight, which UFC never did. And then this week, bettors who either bet on Dulgarian or had him as a leg in their parlay were refunded their bets. Vegas does not give back money. Something is going on here. And then it goes deeper. Dulgarian originally trained under this guy, James Krause. James Krause was in the middle of one of the biggest betting scandals in UFC history. Not only was he in the middle of the scandal, he also had deals with offshore sportsbooks and helped run other people's offshore betting accounts. And by the way, 2 other fights from just this card are also being investigated because of bizarre line movements and bizarre performances from the fighters or the judges. This includes the FBI potentially auditing fights refereed by Jason Herzog. I'll keep you guys updated on here. Drop a follow for sports news and breakdowns every single day.
Padre cielo que estás en lo nuestro. Ay, Santa María, Madre Purísima.
9/11 ritual continues. Let's get into it. Now, a multitude of things happened over the past couple days, starting with the death of the former Vice President Dick Cheney, who died on November 3rd, who was Vice President at the time of 9/11. Then we have the first Muslim mayor of New York City, Mamdani, winning the election. Then we have a plane crash, which was a UPS carrier that went down in Louisville, in which was flight 2976. Now, can anybody tell me how many victims, excluding the hijackers, died in 9/11? Yeah, 2976. Same number. Now, that was on the FBI website, but if you go to Wikipedia, it actually says 2977. If you add Dick Cheney's death, he's that last person. Now, where did this plane crash? At the Muhammad Ali International Airport. Now, who did they say that was one of the hijackers responsible for 9/11? Khalid Muhammad. Coincidence? Let's keep going. Now, in that plane crash, the Louisville mayor stated that there was 9 people that got killed and 11 others injured. What? And this thing just keeps going because the type of plane it was decommissioned from the passenger service on October 26, 2014, in which from the time it went down, 9 days, 11 years. Now, going back to Mamdani, he was born October 18th, 1991. From that time to when Trump got inaugurated in office this year, it was 33 years, 3 months, and 3 days. You mean to tell me that the tower stood 33 years before they fell? And let's not forget that Trump is from New York. Not to mention that UPS plane only reached 175 feet before crashing, right? You guys, that's the same flight number as the second plane in 9/11. How? And the cherry on top, they said that second plane had a 33% load factor. Got it. If you guys don't think that we live in a matrix by now, I can't help you. Make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube Maverick Approach and let me know what you guys think about all this down below.
He was exploring a graveyard at night when he sees this. A horrifying video was uploaded by user Frankly2112 on YouTube while out in an old cemetery that dates back to the early 1800s. Frankly and his brother make their way down the dark cemetery when something haunting is captured. From a dark, wooded area, we can see this ghostly figure quickly make his way towards Frankly. Whatever this is seems to be holding some kind of light, like a lantern. Not noticing it, he turns around for just a moment. As he looks again, the figure suddenly vanishes back into the trees. Now, this video was posted on his YouTube account 7 years ago with no update. So, was this the spirit of an old gravekeeper wandering the land? Just what exactly was captured that night? Let me know what you believe.
Wait till you hear what Mr. Beast just said about Antarctica and the ice wall on Aiden Ross's live stream. I want you to pay attention to his body language as well, guys.
Wait, have you ever been to Antarctica? Yeah. Do you believe in the ice wall?
Yeah, I saw the ice wall.
Well,
Yeah, he saw it too.
I can't say on stream. No way, but
Because
we'll talk about it later.
Let's just say you always need someone with you when you're in Antarctica.
See how he tightened up and got all nervous and then went on to say that he can't talk about what he saw on live stream. Now, why is that? Don't you find it interesting that for the first time in recorded history, every single nation in the world came together, put aside their differences, and agreed upon one thing? They agreed that Antarctica would mark the only global treaty that's ever been done. A place of peace where there's no borders, just mystery. And if you try to go independently explore Antarctica, you'll be met with military. So what is it that they're hiding? I'm going to show you a clip of the last man that explored Antarctica and what he had to say about this place.
Explored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans? Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole, from Middle America.
But we claim that there was more lands beyond the South Pole. Well, what's interesting about this is when we look at old maps, they always depict more lands beyond Antarctica. Antarctica is not what you've been told. It's a 360-degree ice wall that encompasses our stationary Earth. It contains the oceans. Because water needs a container, it is an ice wall, just like they mentioned in the stream. And this is what that ice wall looks like. And many people, just like myself and Mr. Beast, obviously know that there are lands beyond. That's why there's a treaty here. They don't want us discovering it. They want us staying in this literal matrix here they trap us in. This is the United Nations logo. This is a flat Earth map with Antarctica around us, encompassing our stationary Earth. There's also 33 individual sections to this logo, guys, marking 33 degrees of Freemasonry. The United Nations are full of 33rd degree Freemasons, all deceiving humanity, and they put it right in your face. You don't get to the level of fame that Mr. Beast does unless you're, with him. And I'll leave you guys with this. This is a map that hangs inside of the United Nations headquarters. Have a look at this, guys. Have a look at the lands beyond. The truth is always in plain sight. Peace.
This is part 1 of my new series where I talk about celebrity ghost stories. This story is about Joan Rivers. So if you like her and you like ghosts, this is the place for you. This story starts in the late 1980s. At the time, Joan Rivers was living in LA and she was going through a rough patch. She had just been fired from her late night talk show and her husband had tragically taken his own life. So she is going through it. She decides, you know what, I'm gonna start fresh. She sells her home in LA and she decides she wants to move back to New York City. Her friend tells her about this beautiful white stone building in Manhattan where the top floor is available to buy. It's this old ballroom that hasn't been lived in a while, and when Joan looks at it, it's got good bones. It's a beautiful apartment, but it just isn't in good shape. So she looks at this like, this is kind of like a metaphor for my life. So I'm gonna take this apartment and I'm gonna fix it up and it's gonna be beautiful by the time I'm done with it. And at first, everything was fine until it wasn't. So it's a hot, gross August night in New York City. Joan is in the middle of fixing up the apartment. She decides to go up there and she gets inside, and even though it's really hot and gross out, it is freezing cold in this apartment. That's never a good sign. And she notices that her dog is just kind of standing in the threshold of the doorway and it's refusing to come into the apartment. He normally just runs right in, no worries at all, but today he will not cross that threshold. And then she looks on the wall and she sees what looks like just a ton of like graffitis, and she's like, what happened? Somebody must have broken in. So she's feeling weird. She decides, I'm just gonna go. She gets in the elevator and she says to the elevator man, I think someone broke into my apartment. There's writing all over the walls. It's freezing cold. My dog won't go inside. And the elevator man says, I guess Mrs. Spencer is back. Mrs. Spencer is actually the niece of JP Morgan, who at one point owned this building. She was living in the apartment that Joan Rivers had bought, and this is actually where she passed away. So she's been known to kind of mess with people throughout the building in a really like negative, angry way. It's not like playful. This lady is angry. She's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I feel uncomfortable in my own home, but I've put all my money into this house and I don't really have anywhere to go. I want to make this work. So she decides that she wants to get somebody to come in and try to help her rid her house of this angry Mrs. Spencer spirit. So she's calling around, and eventually she gets paired up with a voodoo high priestess from New Orleans. So the voodoo priestess comes over, and the story is about Joan Rivers. So if you like her and you like ghosts, this is the place for you. So she's calling around, and eventually she gets paired up with a voodoo high priestess from New Orleans. So the voodoo priestess comes over, and they're doing this whole ceremony. She said that they did like chanting and drumming, and there were candles. Voodoo priestess tells her that Mrs. Spencer is very angry. She feels like this is her home, this is her building. She feels like she is still the one that is in charge here, and she's just like, who are these people? Like, what are they doing with my building? I hate this. So she's pissed. Joan said that this ceremony was very scary. And about an hour and a half into it, the voodoo priestess just kind of announces she's gone. And Joan Rivers said that it immediately got warmer. Her dog ran into the apartment, was running around just like normal, and everything just felt a lot lighter. So she feels so relieved. Everything's fine for a little while, and then eventually things kind of start up again. So she starts pleading with Mrs. Spencer. She's like, I put all my money in this apartment. Like, I have to make this work. Like, please just work with me. One night, she is down in the basement with a maintenance man. She sees there's a portrait laying there. So she digs it out, and it's a filthy old portrait of this beautiful, grand woman. So she goes to the night doorman. She's like, do you know who this is? And he said, yeah, that's Mrs. Spencer. So she decides to clean up that portrait and hang it in the lobby of the building. After she does this, she gets a call from the voodoo priestess, and she says, I've had a visit from Mrs. Spencer. She knows that her portrait is now hanging in the lobby, and she's very pleased. She also said that she really loves everything you're doing with the ballroom upstairs, and she loves that you always have fresh flowers around. So Joan Rivers lived in this apartment up until she passed away in 2014, and she kept fresh flowers there for Mrs. Spencer the entire time she lived there. She said that she could feel Mrs. Spencer's presence in there a lot, and it felt like kind of like a protective, sort of comforting vibe, like they were friends. So I love this story. I loved Joan Rivers. May she rest in peace, and I really hope that her and Mrs. Spencer were able to actually meet eventually. If you like this story, please hit the follow button and stick around for part 2.
Creepy real photos that keep me up at night part 5. This photo was posted to Facebook with the caption, taken at a McDonald's. We thought our daughter was alone in this playground at the time. The face on the left was not visible at the time I took this. When she was asked who was next to her in the pic, she replied, that's my imaginary friend Beto. Yeah. Hi Beto. It's crazy how you can see her legs here, but there's no legs under Beto. What do you make of this one? Follow for more creepy real photos.
I'm trying to figure out is why are kids' imaginary friends always just super scary? Like, why can't it just be some playful little, like, you know, like a happy person?
It's 1993, and one of the most disturbing episodes of talk show TV was aired. It's the Phil Donahue Show, one of the greatest talk shows in all of TV history. And it actually starts out kind of adorable. He's holding a little baby, and the mother of the baby is sitting right next to him, and the baby he's holding is actually a really big deal.
Hannah is more famous than she ever wanted to be.
A single photo of the baby went all over the news, and this was the first time that this baby was being seen. And the unique thing about the baby is that it's missing an entire arm.
She's lost an arm, to be sure. How did this happen?
And the reason why is where this gets disturbing. I was sent this article from Carol Novielli at Live Action News. It writes how the mom, when she was pregnant, actually went to get an abortion for the baby. She went to New York to see this abortionist, Dr. Abu Hyatt. The 20-year-old mom is 8 months pregnant going in for an abortion. And apparently they strapped her down, like with stirrups. And she sees Dr. Abu insert a dirty 4-inch needle into her stomach. Now she's having a change of mind. She said she could hear a woman screaming in other rooms in the clinic. She asks him to stop. She's changed her mind. But Dr. Abu reassures her it's all going to be fine, and he keeps going with the procedure. And as he's scraping around in her room, pulls off an arm of the baby. He looks at the arm and he realizes, hey, this baby's a little bit older than what you guys told me. He stops the procedure and sends them home, and the mom is in so much pain, she eventually goes to the hospital, where about 12 hours after the procedure, the baby is born alive, but not intact. The baby girl is born without an arm. And Phil Donahue was one of the first to interview the mom and her baby. And this is where it's messed up, because Phil Donahue was an extreme supporter of abortion. And now he's holding this baby on the show saying, oh, it's adorable, and this baby's going to be a great addition to society. Thank goodness she survived.
We are proud to present this very healthy little girl who is quite obviously going to grow up to be a very, very talented, performing, contributing member of our society.
But if Dr. Abu had succeeded in the abortion and the baby had died, he would have fully supported that and the mother's choice to have her baby murdered. It's so sick and demented. This needs to end.
Yeah, this comment might be very, very like off topic and very off, but when I used to play video games when I was younger, they used to call people failed abortions. And I always thought to myself, how do you fail an abortion? And then I'd look at these videos, I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
23-year-old guy was planning on marrying a 9-year-old at Disneyland.
What?
This was recent.
In the happiest place in the world?
Yes, in the happiest place in the world. Apparently, in Disneyland Paris, you can get married on the park. A bunch of people have done it for, I guess, years. People have been doing this where they'll go over there, you know, plan a wedding, do it over there. So this year, recently, there was a scheduled wedding that was supposed to happen sometime in these last couple months. And, you know, they let the park know, the staff has to know, everybody has to know about this, right? I guess the staff ends up going to the area, and when they see who the bride is, they're instantly like, this has to be a joke. This can't be real. It's a 9-year-old girl marrying this 23-year-old dude, and she was like a little Ukrainian girl, and the guy is from like the UK. He's like some guy from the UK. Instantly, they're like, bro, we gotta call the police. They come down immediately, bro. They are shocked. This blew my mind too.
Wait, were there people in attendance?
There was 100 guests there in attendance.
bugging.
I'm not even playing. There was 100 guests at this wedding, including the 9-year-old girl's mom.
What?
I swear to God. The craziest part about it was the dude, who's the 23-year-old guy, he's saying that it was all for social media and it was just a video he was trying to make.
And it can't be cheap. Like, weddings are already expensive. A wedding at Disneyland has got to be dummy ass
I was just gonna say,
bro.
he paid $150,000 to rent out and schedule the day for this wedding.
That's crazy.
Immediately, the police were just like, bro, we're not buying your bullshit. You're arrested. So they take her and bro in. They take both of them in, and basically, we don't know how long they're gonna get arrested because this shit is so fresh.
That dude was sure plotting some.
He was on
gross
some
things to
nefarious
do.
stuff,
Yeah,
bro.
for sure.
This was Heidi Klum's Halloween costume this year. One of Kim Kardashian's recent Halloween costumes.
During a live TV show, Brazilian presenter Silvio Santos shocked everyone when his teeth started to look terrifying. They appeared sharp and pointy. His teeth even seemed to change shape constantly, like they were trying to return to normal. It clearly wasn't bad oral health either, because this is what his usual smile looks like. But the strange part is, he wasn't the only one. Many other famous personalities had also been caught on camera with their teeth transforming the same way. All these videos couldn't be just a coincidence. Could this be a slip that revealed their true identity?
There's a few places in the Bible where God sends fiery serpents among the people. They walk among us. They live among us. They're out to get us. Jesus gives every one of his followers the authority to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy. Nothing shall hurt you when you are a follower of Christ. This is a built-in protection for this type of thing.
What's your problem? I said, what's your problem?
All right today, sir. Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, sir. Here you are, sir. Thank you.
God is a perfect judge. He has to allow them to do certain things when we transgress, because we've now broken our part. Now they have legal grounds over us. And I'm talking, yes, about the fallen and the reptiles and whatever else they are. The judgment is supposed to act as something that shakes people awake. So if you have eyes to see and you understand what's going on in the world around you, please, please, please ask God to show himself to you. He absolutely will. Grab a Bible and join us. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead instead expose them, for it is shameful even to speak of the things that they do in secret. But when anything is exposed by the light, it becomes visible, for anything that becomes visible is light. Therefore it says, awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. When you're a follower of Christ, you literally stomp on these things. They have zero power over us. If you do not know Christ, now is the time, now that these things are starting to show themselves.
So back in 2017, the World Economic Forum tweeted out this: "Welcome to 2030. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better." And knowing now that one of the largest hurricanes in Jamaican history has just hit Jamaica recently doesn't really sit right with me, knowing that they have something called Vision 2030 Jamaica. That's kind of weird, right? And then we had the wildfires with LA, one of the largest wildfires to ever hit Los Angeles, and now they're building something called Smart LA 28. Just in time for the Olympics. And what makes it even more weird is that there was a show that was canceled on Netflix in 2018 called Disjointed. And I feel like this clip right here that I'm about to show you guys is one of the reasons that it got canceled. Pay attention.
I win. Cheryl, it's not a race. That's what losers say. What is that? The truth.
Every time a new baby is born, the Federal Reserve issues a secret birth certificate printed by a company called the American Bank. That way, the government can use people as currency to back the debt they have with the World Economic Forum.
If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lay down. And if it's white, well, just say goodnight. This isn't some nursery rhyme. It's literally the survival guide for dealing with bears. Because here's the thing. Bears are basically nature's mood swings on 4 legs. And how you react could be the difference between what a cool bear encounter, or this was his last known selfie. So let's break it down. If it's a grizzly, brown bear, you've got a chance. These guys don't like eating dead things, so your best move is to play dead. Yep, drop down, cover your neck, and pray you're good at acting because you're now auditioning for Bear Bait the Motion Picture. But if it's a black bear, there's no Oscar performance that'll save you. These guys don't care if you're dead, alive, or just having an existential crisis. You're still on the menu. So your best option? Fight back. Make yourself look big, scream, throw whatever you have, basically channel your inner WWE superstar. And then there's the polar bear. If you see one of these snow-stalking murder tanks, just know you're probably on the menu. Polar bears are the only bears that actively hunt humans. So if you're face-to-face with one, I hope you've got a solid life insurance plan because your chances are about as good as a snowball's in, well, the Arctic. Oh, and a fun little bonus fact, bears can smell their food from miles away. So if you're hiking with a backpack full of snacks, just know they've already put in their Uber Eats order. And you're the delivery guy.
This cult literally poisoned an entire town to try to gain political control of this county.
What the hell?
And it was this cult called Rajneesh. I think they were named after the leader of the cult. I think his name was Rajneesh. Mind you, this cult already succeeded on doing this before. Not by poisoning a whole town, but they were actually able to take control of this other town in Oregon called Antelope, Oregon.
Really?
And they changed the name to Rajneesh, Oregon.
You're lying. Wait, when was this?
It happened in 1984. Their plan was they wanted to take control of this entire county. They planned on poisoning that entire town, Dales, Oregon, with salmonella. They ended up getting like salmonella from like Seattle or something like that.
Yeah.
They went to like the main courthouse in Dales, rubbed it all over doorknobs and urinals and all types of stuff around the courthouse. And they got a bunch of the people sick who were actually going to start running for county. But then they realized like, okay, we got these guys sick.
Yeah.
But people could still vote for them. We got to get the voters sick now. They went to 10 restaurants in the area, sprayed salmonella all over these salad bars, all over these buffets, all over doorknobs, all over bathrooms in these restaurants. And in total, they got 751 people sick with salmonella in that town. But no one died though. Surprisingly, no one died from this.
Yeah.
They just got super sick to the point where the FBI had to get involved and be like, why is so much people in this town
getting salmonella?
Getting sick off of salmonella? Like something happened. Pretty much like the people that are below the leader ended up going off to Europe and running off to Europe. They end up going to their compound of the cult. They find hella vials of like salmonella, pure salmonella all throughout their compound. So they're immediately like, all right,
it's you guys.
We got you guys.
Yeah.
So they end up arresting the leader, and they go out to Europe and arrest all the people who try to flee from the United States as well.
Wow, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Guys, this is why it's always important to wash your hands.
If you see bees doing this, don't get close.
In general, if you see honeybees doing this, there's not too much that you should be concerned about, but I still wouldn't recommend getting close. This TikTok that I got tagged in shows a bunch of bees covering their hive, and during the video, the bees start making a mesmerizing pattern, but no, this is not for aesthetics, this actually has a function. Bees have an enemy that they particularly do not like, that being the hornet, and they've come up with a few different defense mechanisms to prevent hornets from attacking them. The first way is through these intimidating patterns. The bees will gather together, they will lift up their abdomens, and every single time this happens, it sends a ripple through the hive. Usually this is quite effective, but if this doesn't work and the hornets still attack, bees will actually pile onto the hornet and start moving around rapidly, generating heat, and this will literally cook the hornet to the point of no longer being alive. And despite the fact that hornets are much bigger, bees have the number advantage, so this works most of the time. For bees, it's all about the colony and working together, and this is exactly how they stay alive.
So you tell me if like an army of hornets attack a beehive, who would win?
His dad held his 3 kids hostage for over a decade to make them start a band.
What?
Yeah, he forced them to start a band. This actually took place in New Hampshire in the 1960s is when all this started. And the kids were 3 girls who were actually teenagers. So the father, his life was super interesting where I guess when he was younger, his mother, so their grandma, was actually a fortune teller. One day his mom, when he was a kid, told him that he was going to marry a blonde woman, he was going to have 2 boys and 3 girls. And also that his daughters were going to be like a huge worldwide sensation being a band.
Oh, wow.
The dad was like, what the hell? Like, whatever. My mom doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. Years go by, and everything that she said came true. He had 5 kids. He had 2 boys and 3 girls, just like his mom said.
Whoa.
And he married a blonde woman. So the only thing that hasn't came true yet is them becoming this huge band. So he's thinking, I gotta make this happen quicker. Like, I gotta make it happen. So he eventually goes, puts some money together, starts getting them a bunch of equipment that they would be able to practice with. He literally boards all of their doors and their windows to make them never be able to leave. Pretty much kept them in there for the whole 10 years. And then the only times he would allow them to leave is whenever he would get them like a gig. They performed for like kids that were their age. They bombed every time that they performed. And the dad continued to keep them for so long. And randomly, in the 80s, people started liking their music.
No way.
They have no idea yet, and it started to spread kind of in like the underground scene more than anything.
Wow.
So a bunch of people started listening to their music going like, yo, they're actually pretty dope. And their band was called the Shags. And you know who actually said they were one of his favorite bands?
Who?
Kurt Cobain.
Really?
Yeah.
This video is going viral right now from California because it's real, and you can run it through every deepfake, fact check, scan it, AI scan. It's 100% genuine. A freaking orb flying around in this back alley road in California. Now, I will tell you a shocking story that happened to me. Me and my dear soul connection twin flame were laying there. It's the middle of the night. We should be asleep, but for some reason I wasn't quite asleep. Middle of the night. All we hear is zoom. It sounded like a freaking UFO outside. And lights flew from the window. Like, you could imagine me sleeping like in there. And I heard this strangest metallic sound that sounded like a freaking UFO. I know, how does a UFO have a sound? You know, but I'm just saying, it was a UFO experience without seeing it, but we heard it. And then I was like, did you hear that? In the middle of the night, you'd think no one would be awake. She goes, yeah, what the heck was that? It probably was this freaking thing. Some orb flying around. Here it is in slow motion. An orb buzzing around the street. Again, run this video through AI, scan it for AI. Now, I will say though, a lot of videos are going to come out in the coming years that will be real, of crazy creatures, situations, and they will call it AI. AI videos, the psyop of AI videos, is that they can claim a real video is AI, and to dissuade against it, to debunk it. This video is freaking real, man. Are we talking dimensional creature here? Talk to Hawaiians. If you want to ask about balls of light flying around, ask a Hawaiian person. They will tell you what's going on in Hawaii. They all know it. It's freaking passed down generation to generation, stories about this orb, not to mention night marchers, which we have to save for another video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
For all my people watching this in Hawaii, is that true? Like, do you guys see orbs at night?
Wait until you hear what this concerned citizen asks this NASA employee. She did not expect this. And wait until you hear her response. Watch till the end because this is shocking.
Do you ever think the public would find out that all the spacewalks were filmed underwater?
Thanks, sir.
Do you have any comment on that?
Well, we train underwater.
Oh, okay. But only training?
Only training.
Okay.
Most of the public have no idea that the ISS is located in an underwater neutral buoyancy lab in Houston, Texas. The space station footage that they trick us with is not traveling at 17,500 miles per hour above your head. It's all being filmed here on Earth. An exact ISS replica underwater. Coincidence? It's a pretty simple process. Film your footage underwater, remove the water layer, add in your CGI Earth layer, and cast your spell.
The fact there's also a massive studio, entertainment studio, filming studio on NASA property is absolutely shocking. Many people are asking questions, especially when you find out what the word NASA means in Hebrew. Bro, if this is true, this is one of the biggest frauds of the century. Not only because NASA gets something to the tune of $3 billion a year in funding for space exploration, but also, if they are faking all this space stuff, it makes us question if space even exists. If space doesn't, I mean, there's a lot of questions that this leads to. Why would they fake it if they could really go up there? What's the big idea? You got to do a deep dive on the space rabbit hole and the NASA rabbit hole because it is absolutely shocking. And remember, Buzz Aldrin wouldn't swear on a Bible that he went to the moon. The pictures before and after Apollo 11 of the, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed astronauts before and after they got back from allegedly the moon, they look like they just saw a freaking ghost. They were not stoked to be on camera being asked about the moon landing. And just so you know, whenever there's fact checks on a particular subject, that should make you especially want to research more into it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
This is my new series where I talk about celebrity ghost stories, and today we're talking about Mykelti Williamson, or Bubba from Forrest Gump. Mykelti said that this story happened to him in the early 1980s. He was living in LA at the time and he was trying to figure out how to make it as an actor. Anybody that knows him knows he would make it a point to stop by and see his mom a couple times a week. One day he decides he wants to stop by his mother's house, so he gives her a call first and she doesn't answer the phone. So he stops by because he's worried that something's wrong. So he goes there, she answers the door. He's like, "Mom, what's going on? Is everything okay?" And she's like, "Yes, everything is fine, but I need you to get in your car and I need you to go." So he listens to her, he gets in the car and he drives home. A few days later, he decides he wants to go see his mother again. So he pulls up to her house and she, like clockwork, is coming outside, meeting him there and saying, "Listen, you cannot be here. I need you to get in the car. I need you to drive home. If you see anybody that you know or any of your friends, do not stop. Just get in the car and I need you to go home." And so he's looking at her and he's like, "Is someone in the house?" And she's like, "No. I just need you to go." So he just kind of says, "Okay, I respect that." And he gets in the car and he drives home. A couple more days pass. Mykelti's phone rings and he answers and it's his mother. And she asks him to come to her house. He opens the door and he goes to walk inside and he said that it was just, the vibes were off. It was like the air was thick with bad energy. Like the tension was so bad you can cut it with a knife. Mykelti's mother sits him down on the couch and tells him, "Your friend Adrian is no longer with us. His cousin unalived him in the street last night." She told him that Adrian had kept coming by the house asking for Mykelti. Mykelti's mother and grandmother both have the ability to see spirits. But the one gift that they really have is that they can see what they call the spirit of death on somebody before they actually pass away. So his mother was telling him that when Adrian was coming by the house, he had the spirit of death written all over him. That's why she kept telling Mykelti to leave the house every time he was coming over, because she was really trying to prevent something bad from happening to her son. So Mykelti leaves, he goes back to his own apartment. He's kind of distraught, and he asks his girlfriend to come over. She comes over, they sit down to have dinner, and he said that as soon as they sat down, the phone started to ring. So his girlfriend gets up and goes and answers the phone. And Mykelti says that her face just completely drained of all of its color. And he's like, what's going on? What's the matter? And she tells him, you have a collect call from Adrian, where I talk about celebrity ghost stories, and today we're talking about Mykelti Williamson, or Bubba from Forrest Gump, to ring. So his girlfriend gets up and goes and answers the phone. And Mykelti says that her face just completely drained of all of its color. And he's like, what's going on? What's the matter? And she tells him, you have a collect call from Adrian. So Mykelti takes the phone from her, and he said that he hears Adrian's voice clear as day. This is heavy. He said he was screaming, Mike, you gotta help me. And he said he knew it was Adrian because there were only like 3 or 4 people in the world that called him Mike, and he was one of them. And he's like, Adrian, where are you? And Adrian said, they're trying to take me inside. I ran away. You have to help me now before they come back. And Mykelti said that he could hear all of these voices in the background screaming at him for being on the phone. And he could also hear a sound behind him that he can really only compare the sound to like being near an open fire pit or some sort of like roaring open flame. And then he could hear Adrian start to fight these people. He's yelling and he's saying things like, I don't want to go with you. I don't want to go in there. Mike, you have to help. And then the phone just went dead. And Mykelti is standing there, baffled, not sure how this phone call was possible in the first place, and just overall feeling terrible because there's nothing he could do. So Mykelti talks it over with his girlfriend, and she says, you know what? Why don't you call the operator and see if they have record of where that phone call came from? He calls the operator, and the operator doesn't see anything, but she does tell him that if it was a collect call, it will be reflected on your bill. He gets his phone bill in the mail a couple weeks later, looks at the bill, and there's nothing there. He truly believes that he got a call from his friend from the other side. So yeah, this is baffling. I don't know. I love ghost stories, but this is so weird and creepy and fascinating, and yeah, I hope you found it as amazing as I did. If you have any requests for another celebrity ghost story that you would like to hear, please let me know, and like and follow for part 3.
I need to listen to this. Creating their own storms in a state-of-the-art lab. It could end up saving lives.
Saving lives,
Mark, good morning.
for sure. That's what they want to do.
Good morning. This tank gives scientists and the rest of us a view no one has ever had before. What a hurricane's power looks like at water level as it storms ashore. In just 2 minutes, scientists here can take calm waters and turn them into a monster hurricane.
The wind is gradually getting stronger and stronger as it's coming up here, and it's ramping up to a Category 5. It's probably about a Category 3 right now.
This 75-foot-long tank is the first simulator in the world capable of creating a Category 5 hurricane over water. Brian House is the director of the University of Miami's new laboratory at the Rosenstiel School of Marine and Atmospheric Science.
What was it like when you cranked it up the first time, full blast?
It was stunning. I mean, it was it was chilled.
Nearly 40,000 gallons of seawater fill this tank. House uses a computer program and a single 1,700 horsepower fan to whip wind speeds up to 157 miles per hour.
This tank is the largest wind wave facility in the world. We can generate an extreme Category 5.
Now, I love how some people are going to see that and be like, yeah, science, they're trying to save us. Meanwhile, they have full-blown machines set up. This is in Alaska. This is called HAARP, High Active Auroral Research Program, run by the military, by the way. The military. And it's 360 antennas linked together, beams ELF waves in the ionosphere, and creates hurricanes, tsunamis, anything, literally anything, any weather events. Yeah, this right here. Look into it. Oh, and if you don't believe me, maybe you should look into the hundreds of patents that the United States holds for weather control, manipulating hurricanes. Like this one right here, method for controlling hurricanes. By flying many jet aircraft with afterburners to change direction or intensity, what they're saying is they're cloud seeding, to change direction or intensity. Did you guys see how the hurricane that hit Jamaica just completely changed direction and intensity? Wasn't supposed to hit it, completely changes direction,
and its intensity, and then smash Jamaica. Hurricane and tornado control device. This is the HAARP-related patent, broad patent discussing transmuting electromagnetic energy along magnetic field lines to alter regions of the atmosphere, commonly cited to discussions about HAARP and weather modification. Processes and apparatuses for moderating the intensity of a hurricane. Describes measures for moderating intensity in marine regions. Weather management using space-based power systems. Describes using solar microwave power to heat parts of a developing storm. Why don't you go look all this stuff up yourself? All these weather events, they're doing it.
Yeah, we actually touched on the Jamaica and hurricane situation in the last video, so I'm not going to go too much into it. Pretty much talked about how Jamaica just naturally gets hurricanes, but I feel like the hurricane machine thing that they were doing was like more of an indoor simulator. Like I don't know, you know what I'm saying, because there's a lot of conspiracy theories about how they can control the weather, so they might be able to control hurricanes, but I feel like the video we saw was more of like a controlled version of what he's talking about, like a controlled environment of a hurricane. But if they can control hurricanes and they're doing that with it by just destroying land just to make a new land, and hopefully it's not coming out of the people's pockets. Like, why would I need to pay for damage you did to make a new city?
Thank you all for watching this here video.